What's up, nerds, and welcome to another edition of my summer 2025 reading reviews. On today's docket is Watership Down by Richard Adams. Now, in fairness, Watership Down was not originally on my reading list, but I randomly decided that I wanted to read it, so I added it, and I can do that because it's my reading list. You'll find that that's a pretty common theme with me is really it's a running list. It's going to move from summer to fall to winter to the next spring. And it's just never, there's not going to be an end to it. There's never going to be an end to it. But I digress. Watership Down. Watership Down was originally published in 1972. And it tells the story of a group of rabbits that leave their home to travel to a new warren to build a new life. The rabbits that are featured are Hazel, who becomes leader of the group, his brother Fiver, who has premonitions of the future, the strong and brave Bigwig, and the incredibly clever Dandelion. There are also other rabbits that are heavily featured, but that's our core group that runs throughout the story. You may be more familiar with the animated feature of Watership Down. There are a few, I believe, and I think even there's a TV show, if I remember correctly. I have the vaguest recollection of seeing the original, like, late 70s animated feature, but only, like, very minor, like, kind of like flashes in my mind. And honestly, at this point, those could just be things I've seen online. I don't know that I have ever seen the any of the animated features all the way through. But this book, it always comes up on lists of best children's stories and best young adult stories of all time. And look, I love stories about anthropomorphized animals. And so I was like, I want to read this. And so I bought a copy and I read it. And I'm very, very glad that I did. Also, when I say anthropomorphized, these rabbits aren't fully anthropomorphized. With the exception of being able to talk and a few of them having, premonitions of the future, these rabbits don't do anything that real rabbits aren't able to do. Some of it may be stretching reality slightly, but I mean, come on, it's a adventure story about a group of rabbits for kids. Like, what do you expect? I love any story that has anthropomorphized animals in it. I can't get enough of it. And this had enough that it really scratched that itch. And like I said, when it comes down to it, this is an adventure story. When the rabbits, when they leave their home, they are faced with raging rivers and wide open fields that an owl or a hawk could see them, wandering about. They have to deal with foxes and stoats and house cats and dogs. And there's even this evil tyrannical rabbit named General Woundwort. And the story is about Hazel and his group working together to overcome these obstacles and to defeat these enemies so they can build a new, safe home. And that makes for an amazing, amazing story. The other really great part of this, aside from the great adventure that you get to go on with Hazel and all of his friends, is the incredible world building that's done. We get to see how the rabbits live, how they think, how they form their societies. There's even their own language that they sometimes speak in. And woven throughout the main story are these tales of legend that tell the tale of a folk hero rabbit named El Harea. And the tales of El Harea are always tangentially related to what Hazel and the other rabbits he's with are going through at any given moment. And it's a really interesting way of showing how these rabbits keep their own history and how they learn lessons from the past. And it's just absolutely delightful. One thing I've seen from after finishing the book is that quite a few people kind of compare the story of Hazel and the other rabbits to different mythological stories. A main one that was cited was a story of Odysseus. And while I definitely think Richard Adams probably pulled elements from these stories, as I think all writers kind of do, seeing as how they're, such classic tales, look, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, like I said, this is a fun adventure story about a bunch of rabbits. And that's all it needs to be. It's fun. And reading should be fun. So if you're looking for a fun story to read during the summer, you can't really honestly do any better than Watership Down, especially if you've never read it before. Actually, no, even if you have read it before, you probably read it when you were younger. And as someone who didn't read it when they were younger and has only read it here as an adult, I can tell you, you're probably going to get something different out of it as an adult than you did when you were a kid. So whether you've read it before or not, you should reread this again. It's just an absolutely fantastic story. And because of that, I'm going to rate this one 4.5 bookworms out of 5.